Good afternoon, Heidi. Happy or belated Happy New Year, shall I say? How are you?
Happy New
How
Year.
are
Okay
you?
lang. Okay naman. How was your
Andiyan
New
ka?
Year, Treb?
It was peaceful, quiet, as I hoped it to be. As always naman. Hindi ako yung tipong loud pag New Year. So I reserve the loudness for the entire year. Pero pag New Year, ironically, tahimik ako. So that's yung opposite. How about
Nagsuot
dyan?
ka ba ng polka dots?
Gusto pa ba yun? Nagsuot ako ng, what's that? What color is that? Pink?
Kulay
Nagsuot kami ng,
sibuyas.
hmm, na,
Correct.
feeling rich. Feeling rich, color. How about you?
Correct.
Diyan sa, ano ulit yung lugar mo?
Ilocos, Slovakia.
In Slovakia.
Okay naman.
You are
Masaya.
fond of saying. Kamusta dyan?
Okay naman. We spent New Year with family. Marami kami kasi we had relatives and cousins who came in from abroad, nagbakasyon. So it was really fun.
Wow,
Yeah.
saya nun.
Yes.
So we're now on our third episode. Can you believe that? Diba? And we're already halfway ng fiscal year for this PCTA term, di ba? For the last 2 months, we had 2 interviews already. So I
Yes.
think kailangan natin mag-catch up because we cannot do an installment of 1 interview per month. Di yun yung
Oo.
schedule natin.
Oo.
So, and for January, I think very exciting kasi we're this countdown na to towards the convention, no?
Yes, so exciting.
In November we had March, Combs, and then we had Wesley uh, last month talking about that was actually his first guesting, no? So meron pa siya mga follow. I think si Wesley yung pinaka magiging madaming appearance sa PCTA Talks, no? So
Correct.
yeah, because that's the culmination of everything that we're doing, the convention. And of course, we have a special guest again, very special guest.
Yes, this
One of the
afternoon.
people that we really look up to in the industry, diba?
Correct.
For this afternoon. But
Boss.
before that, I'd like to welcome again the viewers, our viewers of our PCTA Talks. This is the official video podcast of PCTA, which features everything about PCTA, all the happenings, all the updates, industry updates, members update, so things like that.
Right.
Okay, I think before we introduce him, siguro let's talk about what do you call this? We have 2 more ECCs coming up. First one is on January 19th in
Yes.
Tagaytay Highlands,
Yeah.
which is for the South Luzon cluster.
Correct.
Interestingly, the South Luzon cluster, as we all know, Luzon has the most number of members.
Yes.
And the South Luzon cluster, which is Region 4A, if I'm not mistaken, Region 4A comprises 48% of that cluster in Luzon. So
Wow.
we're expecting a lot of attendees talaga sa Tagaytay Highlands. And
So maganda ng venue in fairness.
oh nga,
Yeah.
unfortunately, you will not be able to join us, no? Because
Oo.
Eagle Vision is celebrating its 30th anniversary. Tell us about it.
30 na kami. Yes, so we're very happy. We've reached this milestone. In 1993, we started with cabling 2 streets rather, in 1 barangay.
Streets?
Yeah,
Oh,
and
really?
now,
Pero it's still in the same location.
what do you mean?
Where exactly did you start your operation?
Pantay Ilocos Sur.
Okay. So ngayon ilan na yung areas niyo or barangays that you are covering?
Yes, correct.
Ilan na? Ilan na ngayon yung
You're asking me.
Yeah. Ilan na yung areas or barangays ng Eagle Vision?
We are now interconnected with 50 towns and cities.
Wow, 50 towns.
Oo,
Pero
from
all in the
Ilocos
same
Norte
area pa
down
rin. All in the same area in Ilocos.
Ilocos Norte down to Tarlac. Tapos we have some systems also in Cavite.
Yeah. Ito yung mga newest systems niyo in Cavite, no?
Yes.
Which they are carrying a different brand name, right? Correct? Or is it Eagle Vision?
No, different.
What is the brand name for the Tagaytay, the Cavite, Cavite
The one in
system.
General Trias is Shama Broadband, and the one
Shama
in
Broadband.
Tagaytay is TBCN.
TVC,
Tagaytay Broadband and
TVCN.
Cable TV Network.
Okay, so congratulations. Ano ba yung
Thank
ano
you.
niyo, event? Ano ba yung event ninyo? Is it open to the public or is it an exclusive event for your stakeholders? O, paano
It's
ba?
open to the public.
Really?
So we're going to Viva and CPI sponsored some artists. So we're having a mini concert.
Public talaga. It's a very good move actually. You
Yes.
do it for the public. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's open to everyone, not just your subscribers, di ba?
Yes, and also we will
Including
be
soon-to-be subscribers, di ba?
right, exactly. We will be providing free Wi-Fi in the plaza for 10 days. The entire duration of the Longanisa Festival.
So there's a Longganisa
That's
festival
what it's called.
coinciding with your anniversary.
Mm-mm.
Ano bang, look, this is for Longganisang, ano yun? Ilocos?
Oo.
Oh,
Mm.
sayang, no? Hindi nagkasabay yung ano, makakapagdala ka sana ng longganisa sa ECC.
Correct.
Anyway, so as I was saying, so 2 more ECCs. We're looking forward for South Luzon, and it will be graced by a lot of sponsors. If I'm not mistaken, ito yung ECC, aside from the Bacolod leg, of course, which is not just an executive cable conference, but it's a summit, diba?
Right.
We are lucky to have a lot of sponsors for the Tagaytay leg. And then, of course, one last remaining for next month, which is for Davao.
Davao, right. February.
And then,
for
yeah,
the Mindanao cluster.
Convention na, naglabas na ang, it's already out on the PCTA's social media page. We've already made an announcement for the convention in Boracay. Ayun, the theme, as we all know, is Avatar to Connectivity. So,
yes.
that explains yung background mo ngayon. I'm not an avatar, but this one is. Saka ito, kailangan to, in tune din, or swak din doon sa guest natin later. Kasi,
correct.
yeah, I would like to believe that just similar to Wesley, certified geek din si,
Not only
si
geek.
boss. Not only geek. Oh.
Geek
and I think he's also proud of it, though. So,
yes.
Let's not keep him waiting.
So allow me to introduce our next guest for the
Go ahead.
PCTA Talks. He is a true green-blooded person. He went to Xavier for grade school, Ateneo for high school, and then De La Salle College of St. Benilde for his college, for his university. He's the president of KCAT Inc., which is operating off in Cabancalan City in Negros Occidental. He is currently a director of the PCTA, heading the chairman for technical and policy committees, also the vice president for Visayas. In 2022, he was elected president of the association, and he was able to guide the association in dealing with the pandemic by providing and offering online workshops, and also signing MOAs for the carriage of Dep Ed TV and Knowledge Channel to supplement study-at-home efforts. And also, he also took charge of the launch of PCTA's Mabuhay ang Lokal campaign, which aims to shine a spotlight in the admirable efforts of PCTA members outside the metro areas. We are proud to announce our next guest, Jose Luis Dabao, or Joel Dabao.
Hi, thanks for the region.
Hello. Good afternoon, Joel.
Okay, and a little hello to our members listening. Hello to all PCTA members. Thank you for engaging with PCTA content, and to everyone who's not a PCTA member. What are you waiting for, Sally? Na masaya dito.
Yes.
Galing, meron pang may come on pa si Joel. How do you react when people tell you, the members especially, you are the pandemic president ng PCTA? Di ba?
I mean, number one, it's true, no. I had to deal with the height of the pandemic, from having to deal with our issues of mobility, diba? Remember when everything first locked down, that was my first real problem as president. We had to talk to the government and get all the exemptions that our members needed because not everyone could come to Manila and go to the ICT and NPC Central and say, hey, I'm the cable operator in Zamboanga del Norte. I need a pass to go in between borders, diba? So we had to kind of make it clear to everyone that as long as it says cable operator, lets you go through. And then we also have to navigate, how to function still as an association when there's no physical getting together, because that essentially is what our association is. We try to be a community for our members, and this is predicated on us getting together physically. And so how are we going to do that? So we solved that problem by having our online workshops. And for the first year and a half, sabik na sabik talaga yung mga tao.
Ang daming webinars nun. Ang daming
Oo.
webinars nun.
Regular ako
Every-
nag-a-attend nun.
Oo.
Oh, I remember.
Tayong
Every
dalawa ay
2
di
weeks,
nangungulit dun eh.
diba? Every 2 weeks, tapos parang 100 yung mga tao parate. Just because
Yes,
everyone
exactly.
was better than being alone at home looking at spreadsheets, diba?
Correct.
So it was a challenge, but we somehow managed to do it. I thought it would be less work. Like a lot of people thought we did work less during the pandemic, and they were all wrong, just like me. We all wound up working much
Of
longer
course.
hours
Extended
than any of us
hours.
thought we
Yeah.
would. So I think my 2 years as president was really 4. So yeah, it was good. This was a good time though. I think that we were able to do a lot of good things. We were active in a lot of legislation. We were active in a lot of industry forums that helped really raise the profile of the PCTA. There was a study that was just released that actually highlighted this. PIDS, the government's think tank, released an updated study about the ICT landscape that actually included cable operators. Because the previous one, done in 2019, spoke about ICT in the Philippines and made no mention whatsoever about cable, as if cable was not part of the ecosystem.
Mm-mm.
So, we really made some inroads, I guess yun, by working 18-hour days, because that's what everyone was doing. And I think the PCTA is actually better off for the world shrinking due to the pandemic, and hopefully we can carry that momentum through as we go forward.
Yeah, speaking of momentum, you were very successful during the pandemic for setting the tone when everything has already opened. So malaking bagay yun eh, di ba? So ako personally, Heidi, for our own organization, ramdam na ramdam namin si PCTA during the
Yes.
pandemic.
Mm-mm.
So that was another challenge when when the restrictions ay lumuwag na. And we're already starting to do all these face-to-face activities. So, malaking bagay yun na kumbaga naset na yung tone na PCTA has always been here. Hindi kami nawala. Diba? And ayun, especially when we first did the Bacolod Conference,
Cybersecurity
diba?
Conference in Bacolod.
Which is very well attended. Ramdam na ramdam mo na miss talaga ng mga members.
Yeah.
Yung
face-to-face.
face-to-face. And what PCTA has to offer for 2022-2023 before the convention.
Yep, and it's very, very exciting. We're lined up quite a few MOAs that are going to lead to a lot of activities for us. The biggest one is really the one that came out of the Bacolod event. We signed MOA with USAID's Beacon activity, and they're going to help us develop our cybersecurity posture. When you say cybersecurity to everyone, it's such a big, mysterious thing because it covers so many aspects, right? I mean, you heard about that mess in NAIA on New Year's Day. Even though that was a power thing, people are treating it as a cybersecurity issue because from a process point of view, you can actually legitimately make that argument. So, as we go around developing that cybersecurity posture, malalaman din ng members natin na hindi lang technical yung kasama dito. HR, sales, your electrician, new opinions nila will matter. And the really important thing here is since tutulong yung USAID sa atin, we're going to get the stamp of the US government on our set of security standards. Na lalo magiging importante with what the ICT and the national government have planned to release a law mandating na susunod dapat yung mga critical infrastructure to cybersecurity standards. And rightfully so, para hindi mangyari ulit yung katulad na nangyari sa NAIA. So power companies, water companies, internet service providers should endeavor to follow a certain cybersecurity standard. And yung maganda, si PCTA mangunguna ngayon. Before anyone's requiring us to do it, maglilista na kami and we're going to get ready to prepare ourselves to be really world-class operations to serve our subscribers better, even if and no one's requiring us to.
Correct. Yes.
Segue ko na ron, Joel, since as we know, since the Bacolod conference, cybersecurity na date, naging regular sponsor, participant, and speaker si USAID for cybersecurity. Then Baguio, nandun din sila, and they'll be also joining us sa Tagaytay. So what would be their most important contribution during the convention? Aside from the paplantsahin na Joel yung di ba? Yung MOA, di ba? It will be out na to the members. What would be their very specific and most important participation sa convention?
Sige. There are a couple of important things that I'll leave for Wesley to announce kasi I might be front-running him. But yung sa technical committees talaga magbababad tayo on cybersecurity awareness. Hindi muna sa trainings because we know na, for a lot of people, medyo komplikado pa si cybersecurity. So we're going to be having a lot of topics introducing the concepts to how to design a cybersecurity network, what does a cybersecurity attack look like, what do redundant systems look like, yung mga ganon. And these will all be facilitated by USAID. So either they will provide the trainings or they will link us to the companies that provide these trainings. So it's really going to be very exciting. So I'm not just being a PCTA director by saying this, but it's really important talaga na pumunta yung PCTA members natin sa convention in order to really help develop our talent. Segue lang a little bit also. There's a recently released jobs report by IBM. Now the gap for cybersecurity jobs is somewhere now. There are 4 million vacancies that need to be filled, and that's today.
For local in the Philippines,
globally, there are 4 million jobs required. There are 4 million vacancies, and that's of the companies that already know that they need cybersecurity. Wala pa din yung mga hindi nila alam. Diba? So after we're done and after we understand their cybersecurity needs, madadagdagan pa yan lalo.
Yes.
True.
It would be, it's really important for us as cable operators to train our people so that when we're ready to have, kailangan ko ng cybersecurity specialist ng ganito, I need someone who handles this. We can already look within our pool of talent as opposed to maghahanap tayo and we're going to be fighting, Amazon Web Services for cybersecurity talent. Malamang wala tayong laban dyan in terms of sweldo, di ba?
Anyways, let's talk about your committee. Sisagay ko sa committee mo. Kasi you are handling yung counterpart to internal affairs.
External.
Diba? Which is the external affairs committee as well as the technology industry development committee. How crucial yung role nitong dalawang committees na hinahawakan mo ngayon sa PCTA into its members?
Yeah.
For them to understand. Kasi ako may background na, but for me, rather than talking about it, you are the best person, of course, to talk about that.
So actually, nung bata pa ako, I saw the importance of the technical committee kasi, ang niche ng cable industry, like you can't go to school and study cable. You can't go to...
of course, yeah.
So to find what you need to know to be a cable operator from a technical point of view, talagang pinakamadali si PCTA. I remember we used to do 2-day courses na may certifications, so may level 1, may level 2 when we were doing full coax kasi komplikado ng coax ang tindi ng math nun, pati ako tinamad. But and so it's really and it's really good that it's done by cable operators themselves. I've always admired the previous TID chairs because you're able to filter out, hindi, ito lang talaga yung kailangan Because when you make a third party decide what should be taught, karamihan ng ipapasok nila hindi naman talaga kailangan. Like I took a fiber to the home certification course in the States because KCAT was one of the first to adopt fiber to the home in the PCTA. And I didn't want to invest into something na hindi ko pinag-aralan. So I went and I studied. And it was hard. And don't get me wrong, it was very useful. But around half of that when you're going into the business, hindi mo naman kailangan. I don't need to know the different layers of a fiber optic cable and what they're called. Maybe how to strip them. Oh, pero the core, the cladding, and the, diba? I haven't heard my people say the word cladding ever. And there are a lot of things that we can just, skim it out and give to people exactly what they need.
Right.
And then the added benefit of the wisdom of a lot of our TID trainers with decades of experience is nating diskarte alam nila at nakakwento nila. Now, syempre, to the owners, we don't often like hearing na gumagawa ng shortcut at may diskarte yung mga tao natin. But ultimately, they're effective and they help them, they're contextualized. Diba? Paminsan-minsan, dito sa mga area natin, yun lang talaga yung gagana eh. Diba? The technique that the book says really won't work because, we don't lay poles the way that the book says. The houses aren't built the way the book says. So,
Yeah.
we improvise. And it's good that we get to share it as a community. And I think that it helps our members stay updated. And the best part about the committee is we're incredibly neutral about the technologies we push because we're not selling, diba? We're
Right.
users. So hindi kami na, tapos gamitin mo tong technology kasi binebenta ko at lalaki bonus ko. It's not that. It's just use this technology because in our experience, it's done good things for us and you should do it too. Ganon.
May,
So
may
that's
follow-up question si Heidi on that, si Date. Just want to let you know that we came prepared. Although this is not scripted, we have to make sure na tama yung mga tinatanong natin kay Joel Dabao. So,
Nakakatakot
Heidi,
naman, hala.
do you want to shoot the follow-up question from
Oh, yes,
with
definitely.
regards to the community pa rin ni
Sana
Joel?
dito tol sa love life yan, ha? Wala akong masasagot kasi wala ako nun.
Okay. So, syempre, di ba, hindi lang naman, technical committee si Joel. You're also head of the policy committee, is that correct? Is also included pala in the
Oo.
external affairs. So, can you please share with us any updates from government agencies like NTC,
Yeah.
MTV, full rentals, mga ganun.
Wow, that's a lot. Sige.
General lang, general.
Okay. So I guess for the past couple of years, naging contestable talaga yung nangyari sa pole rental. And we've really made it known to whoever we could make it known to that we're not happy about it. And it's not just na umakyat, it's the way na umakyat. And yun naman talaga yung manifestation natin. Hindi naman sa presyo pero yung nag times 4 ka na biglaan. What kind of business can survive, di ba?
Right.
I mean, what's happening now, di ba? Nag times 4 yung sibuyas, sino masaya? So that's pretty much how we felt with the pole rental, and that's what we're talking to legislators about, and it doesn't seem like we can do anything about bringing it down. So what we're doing now is we're making our presence known in the House for a couple of bills that are going to create rhyme or reason as to why pole rental will go up and how much it will go up. There are many names. The last one that we attended, it was the pole regulatory bill. And we hope that that gets passed. I think we got overtaken by events. The last hearing for this was probably early 2020, and then the Bayanihan laws came out. So medyo importante yun, medyo nag-rush yung house, diba? To get Bayanihan 1, 2, and 3 out. So that kind of got pushed to the side. Another bill we're super active with is the open access bill. Nahirapan tayong lahat sa diba, with franchises, and sometimes we just want to lay infra in an area just to cross, diba? You want to interconnect two head ends, you don't want to operate in the town in between. But legally bawal tayo eh. So the open access bill is going to allow anyone who wants to enter into the ICT industry a way in by registration and proving that you can be a capable participant in any sector. And what's nice there is it hopefully creates more competition in areas that competition is needed. I think as cable operators will agree, in the last mile, medyo marami na tayo. Pero local loop, not so much. Submarine, even less. So hopefully that law will increase more players in those industries. We're also keen on spectrum management reform. The number one reason is a lot of our members over the past couple of years have been feeling a lot of pain when 4G gets fired up near them. Kasi yung one of the telcos uses up an adjacent frequency and it blocks out a lot of the channels unless you do some very complicated things that not everyone can do. And it's not a skill thing. It's a topology thing. If your land is located in a certain area relative to the cell site, kahit anong ginawa mo, wala kang magagawa. And the rules around the interaction between the one who is interfering and the one who is interfered with aren't very clear. The Radio Service Act was built in the 30s. Diba? So hindi nila
Very old
maisip
law,
na
no?
magkakaroon. Oh, and then diba, hindi nila naisip na magkakaroon ng technology na ganito magsasapawan ng ganyan.
Right.
Diba? During this time, it was CB radios and TV na they didn't really interfere with each other. Tsaka konti lang. Diba? So, we're hoping that gets updated so that, our C-band, which is very, our lifeblood when it comes to the video business, gets protected. And second, it might open new business for us because it'll now allow for the possibility of applying for a frequency regionally. Same problema ngayon when you ask for a frequency, you need a nationwide franchise for it. Kunyari, TV. If you want, to open a TV station in Ilocos, for example, you need to apply for a franchise for the whole country, kahit na Ilocos lang yung balak mo.
Yes.
So this could open up our members to more business also. Do you want to be a wireless internet provider? Do you want to be a TV station or radio station? Ideally, if a good spectrum management law gets passed, we'll be able to enter into those businesses. And the most recent bill na lumabas na we've been very active in also because it's not crafted in the way that we would like it to be. Is the Faster Internet Services Bill. Of course, as cable operators, gusto natin na binibigyan natin ng magandang serbisyo yung mga clients natin. But, the situation of one member, the situation of another is different. Like the situation here in Kabangkalan and the situation in Makati CBD, it's not the same. So you can't apply the standards of Makati CBD and Kabangkalan City as the same. Diba? And yung issue natin with the bill is they want to mandate a national minimum speed. Let's say you want to do a national minimum speed of 30 Mbps. Kaya kung kaya, but given the context of Kabangkalan City, I have a 999 peso plan that's 10 Mbps and my subscribers are happy with it. Necessarily mawawala yun kasi hindi ko afford yung 30 Mbps at 999.
Yeah, oo.
Diba? Patay yung negosyo ko. So, diba, our view that we manifested to the House is if you're going to if you're going to have a standard thing across the board, either you'll have cable operators not offer internet and they'll just go back to the cable business kasi hindi nila afford yung standards na diba? They can yung probinsya nila hindi kaya yung standards na Makati CBD. Or for the ones that are already offering internet service, tatanggalin nila yung budget plan kasi hindi nila afford gawin yung budget plan nila as the minimum na being mandated by the bill. Diba? What we're manifesting to Congress is truth in advertising na lang. Make us commit to a certain percent of the speed at a certain percent of the time. Kasi, if my market likes 3 Mbps, 2 Mbps, they probably like it kasi maganda yung dinideliver ko, diba?
Yes.
So, the proper thing is to allow me to do that and to allow the market to have that. Kasi tanggalin lang natin because gusto niya sa Makati 100 Mbps. Diba? So hopefully, we sent a position paper to the House there, and hopefully, what comes out is what will be good for both the consumer and the industry.
How serious is the intent of the House to implement this? Kasi I can definitely relate to it kasi we're also operating the provinces, diba? So definitely there's a segment for lower bandwidth speeds, entry level subscription, diba?
Yeah. There's a lot of noise around it kasi syempre when you hear the name of the bill, the Faster Internet Services Bill promises 100 Mbps across the Philippines. It's so matunog, ganda. Parang pag ako nag-sponsor nito, I must really love the Philippines. Right? So we have to temper that with, we understand that, you want something good for the Philippines, but let's also take the context. So that's one thing, us and some active allies of ours. Yun yung pinaka-asset ng committee ko. We have some really good friends in the house. In civil society, like Better Internet PH and democracy.net PH, who understand the trials and tribulations of a small operator, but more importantly, and they understand the value. Diba?
Right.
The thing we always say in PCT is pupunta tayo kung saan ayaw ni telco. Diba? It's not even where they are, it's where they don't
Correct.
want to go. Doon tayo
Yes, yes.
pumupunta. So
Correct,
we should
correct.
be allowed to continue to do that. Diba?
Na,
And
if I
besides,
may,
kasi the lower plans is is actually more beneficial to the Filipino people because, 'di ba? Mas maraming connected.
Exactly. I mean, if the vision is we want to connect the poor and we want to connect to the
yeah,
countryside, so we should enable the people who are going to the countryside and we should enable
bridge,
packages that the poor can afford.
Right.
bridge the digital divide, as
Counterintuitive
they
yung
say, di ba?
100 Mbps.
Oo,
Yeah.
diba?
Importante nga yung share of wallet, as I always say, di ba? Especially
Right.
that
Can you imagine?
the current
Hi, we're in
economic.
your barangay, pero 2899 yung pinakamurang plan ko kasi 100 Mbps.
Oh my
Diba?
God.
Lalapit sa, sige, pero pwede 10 bahay kaming hati.
Oo nga, no? So, anyways, I'd like to thank Joel because it's the beauty of having him on board. Okay?
Yes.
Because one question will branch out to a lot of issues already. Di ba?
Correct.
We're talking of
Diba?
external
Oo.
affairs dito.
Nasagot niya na nga
Diba?
lahat ng tanong natin eh.
Yeah, he's making
Ako,
our job easier for this episode.
yung
Actually,
sinasabi mo, ang dami kong issues, ganon.
no, hindi naman. This is very informative.
Very knowledgeable. Si
We need
Joel.
we need to remind the secretariat who's also helping us with this episode of PCTA Talks. Siguro i-highlight natin yung poll rental for the teaser. Kasi that's something that
Affected talaga
the
lahat ng
members
operators dyan.
the members are very particular about a very particular issue. So isama na natin sa teaser yon para when they watch this episode, alam na nila that's part of the discussion. Okay.
Yeah. Siguro,
you have
one last thing lang on the poll rental. For the sake of our members, I'm sure your casual viewers aren't going to appreciate this. But we've also been speaking to ARTA and the Philippine Competition Commission about
yes.
the poll rental issue. And if any of our members would like to join those discussions, let us know. And we can have some very deep ones. I know some members have already started, and the more that speak to these government agencies, the better, because they'll understand really the gravity of the situation and how it actually stops the countryside from getting connected.
How is it, how is it, I mean, what's the current status now, Joel, with we've already made initiatives, initial efforts to talk to the Philippine Competition Commission. So, ano ng status ngayon?
What I can say is I've handed it over to the members, and from there, iwanan ko na lang doon because it's basically a case, right? So the details of which I guess that's for the member to say, not me.
So,
I see.
Joel, if there are members who wants to go ahead and do this, how do they do that?
Just reach out to us, reach out to the secretariat. We have the contact details of all of the PCC lawyers.
Okay.
We're very interested in the idea that there's something happening, and then the more data that they have, the better. So if you're willing to share your JPAs, the previous one and the one after the increase, and if your JPA is anything like mine, you'll also notice that certain clauses and provisions have changed. If you can highlight those also and explain how they affect you, that's something that the PCC I think will find very interesting.
Okay. So segue ako actually this is not a segue, this is a new topic na for Joel. We're only 3 months to go for the convention, and I know you are one of the important figures IX, diba? And can you tell us, siguro this is a good opportunity to start talking about IX. Basically what the objectives of IX is before it comes out as a big entity during the convention.
Yeah, sure. Let me try not to be technical about it. Lalo kasi
Mm.
pagka-nerd ko eh. So the PCTA-IX is an initiative started by the PCTA to help bring down our international bandwidth costs. Because over time, we found that a lot of the content being consumed by the Filipino consumers moving now to the Philippines. And the easiest way to access all of this content is to have a point where multiple ISPs get together. And then we can now attract the content providers. Say, hey, in this area, there are a lot of cable operators connected. All you have to do is to connect to this, and you can deliver your content to all of these operators. And it costs everyone very little. All you have to do is reach the data center. Currently, the PCTA is in TIM Carmona, and then you can have access to all of this content. Currently, we have a lot of content now being brought there by a very generous member. But before eventually the goal is to have the content there connect directly to the internet exchange. The second goal of the IX is to have multiple IXs across the Philippines. We're not served by having everything in Luzon. And this isn't a regional thing, it's a network design thing. You don't want everything happening in one place. Kasi pag dumapa yun, dedo tayo lahat.
Right.
We want to have it happen in multiple sites for redundancy and also good performance. Distance is always an issue when we're talking about the consumer internet, especially gaming, the videos we watch, the social media sites we go to. Lahat tayo napapansin natin yung lag kahit 0.01 seconds lang eh. So as we move those things closer to our members, as the IX grows, we really envision that to be a big benefit to all of our members, because the difficulty when talking to the giant content providers is it's about minimum size of content. And really, honestly speaking, individually, there are no PCTA members by themselves that can attract the whole kit and caboodle of these big content providers. But altogether, because we have to remember, altogether, cable operators, not just PCTA members, but all cable operators, altogether, we're about the size of any of the major telcos in terms of internet subscribers. So if we're able to do that, we can attract content now to connect to our IX. And all we have to do is, instead of paying for international transit, is either pay for domestic transit to that data center, or when we get those hubs going, lay your own fiber. Diba? And once you can lay your own fiber to a connection point, so it saves you so much money kasi SFP, the gadgets lang yung gastos mo instead of the monthly fee for going around. And the main objective really is, when you keep local traffic local, everybody's costs go down. So we're also able to offer higher bandwidth plans to our subscribers. Really just makes more sense to have multiple IXs throughout the Philippines. And it's not going to happen on its own. That's why PCTA decided to do it. Then I put up an IX. Because even though there are other companies putting up their IXs, none of them really want to, or really have a heart to do it regionally, because they're not regional players. But they're NCR players, they're Luzon players. It's not something they think about now. I want to one day have an IX pickup point in Eastern Visayas. But they don't dream about that, but the PCTA does. And hopefully, as the IX gains more steam, that's something that we can have going forward. Sana at least every region may pick up point si IX, para hindi nalalabas ng isla yung isang cable operator para kunin yung content na gusto ng subscriber niya.
Can we expect more topics and discussions about IX during the convention?
That certainly is the aim, no? The IX is effectively the co-presenter of the I'm not the president of the IX, but I know that there's going to be a lot of efforts to sort of highlight really what an IX does. From a technical point of view, the technical committee has been doing training for what is an IXP and how best to make the use of an IXP many times already. We've probably done it 4 or 5 times, and we're going to keep doing it until everyone is confident knowing what IXPs are, what their business value is, and what's very important also is how best to behave while in an IX. Because while I won't get into the technical parts of it, the way a network behaves in an IX is also very important.
Si, ano, date?
So,
Ganito ka...
we're going to,
Yeah, so you're saying, sorry.
so the something to look forward to, no, sa convention.
Oo,
Lalo
sobrang
sa mga,
meeting,
hindi, sa
no?
mga tulad ko, I'm not a technical person, eh.
Same
Diba?
here.
But a lot of cable operators are not really technical people. And I think
Yeah,
that's what PCTA is, is aiming for, to connect to help people like me, non-technical people, to reach that.
yeah, definitely. We want to make sure that the business case for the IX gets told at the convention. And more importantly, we did most of our promotional work for the IX over the course of the pandemic. Eh.
Yes,
So, syempre,
yes.
iba yung tanungan pag, it's a presentation to a group over a Zoom as opposed to a one-on-one over coffee.
Right.
You might be able to explain things better and,
Correct.
So we really hope that the momentum for the IX will come out of the convention with a lot of side discussion. So I also encourage our members who are listening, if you have good questions about the IX, you can send the questions to us or just ask for a meeting already. The secretariat will be happy to help you and link you with the IX management team, and they'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Wow.
Actually, first time ko narinig yung IX date nung pandemic nga eh. That's the first time I heard about this PCTA IX. And yun, I get to know about it when I joined the board. Very ambitious, if I may say, in a very good way, yung mga i-highlight ng mga topics and for the convention, no. So it will be a very exciting week in Boracay, no.
Yes.
Although which is very opposite, very laid back yung environment, yet di ba, we're all about business for PCTA IX, for cybersecurity. If I may, may ano lang ako, may susundot akong tanong kay Joel. You're not talking now about connectivity, no? But since I joined PCTA and during my talks with you, private talks with Joel, he's actually one of the most staunch and very vocal supporters pa rin ng cable TV and ng pay TV basically, and particularly, I mean. So where do you think the industry is going with regards to cable TV? You shared a pay TV deck to me last month, and it was very what do you call this, it's a big eye opener for me. Kung nasaan na ng cable TV versus sa streaming, di ba? So what can you say about that? What's your thoughts?
Talumpati to. Handa ba tayo magtalumpati?
Okay lang. We've allocated 2 hours for you for this episode.
Let me start big and then we're gonna go small. I think that the disruption we're going to get from streaming, it's going to lessen very, very soon and very fast, because the environment for the streamers has changed drastically over the last few months, and it's going to change even faster as we go forward. With the rising with the rising interest rate environment in the States, investors are now looking for returns agad. So a company has to be profitable if you want my money, as opposed to before, just promise me growth, okay lang. So like Netflix, they've only gotten cash flow positive probably in the last year and a half. But that whole time before that, hindi sila cash flow positive. They were burning money. And so was everyone else. The streamers that were making money because they had parent companies who were making money to subsidize the burn. So over the next few years or next few months even, they're going to have a hard time producing content because you're going to have to justify that spend. I'm going to spend $1 billion to shoot The Lord of the Rings. Okay, what's the return on that? So since all of them are going to be pressured to deliver returns, a lot of them will also start thinking, teka lang, baka ayoko na mag D2C. Diba? Because the risk in D2C is so much higher. What if I shoot something tapos benta ko na lang sa ibang provider? They call this arms dealers, which I think is the tactic that HBO, the Warner Group actually is going to take. na they'll produce. That's why they've been pulling stuff off. I mean, I'm sure you see in the news that may nawawalang content sa HBO Max. It looks like what they're trying to do is ibebenta na lang nila, lagay ko kay Netflix for a fee for 3 years, lagay ko kay Prime for a fee for 3 years. And I think we're going to see even more of that happening. So with this hullabaloo happening for the streamers, number one, ang dami nila. Number two, their content pipeline's going to be less, diba? Because they can't spend as much as they used to do. So I think that as far as that content goes, magkakaroon talaga ng consolidation, magkakaroon ng bilihan, diba? I mean, look what happened to Disney, diba? Disney is such a successful company and they had to fire their CEO because mainly Disney Plus. Disney Plus was dragging them so low. Funny enough, what saved the entire video business from losing money in their last quarterly report was the linear business. The linear business of Disney earned something like 7 billion, and then the D2C streaming business lost 6.9, so it earned 100 million pa.
Wow. Wrong move talaga yung D2C.
That's what it's starting to look like. So from a year and a half to 2 years ago, and everyone's like, streaming, patay ng cable. Now it's the streamers who are feeling the pinch, and they're the ones who are going to have to innovate much more than us. Because number one, I think the shaking for cable in general has already happened. Those who are going to leave us for sure had left us already. Yung natitira, either the people who really see the value in the linear business, or the not sures who, if we improve some things, magagawa natin. So, and I'm sure right now as I'm saying this, there are PCTA members listening saying, yeah, well, dami ko nawawalang subscribers, so you're wrong. I think that the cable industry in the Philippines, number one, we aren't perfect. We have to understand where we are and sort of figure out the way forward, diba? Dati, nung sobrang patok na patok yung negosyo natin, yung laro, I'm going to go digital and have 200 channels, 5 Discovery, 5 HBO, 8 National Geographic, and 27 news channels, diba? That's not the game anymore. The game is you want the best whatever. If it's the best documentary, it's the best documentary. If it's the best unscripted content, it's the best unscripted content. So curation is now the important one. So kahit na 40 channels ka lang, but it's the 40 most popular channels.
Right.
I think you're going to do well. Second, I don't think cable operators have really thought about user experience. When we talk about hardware, for example, I've probably only once ever had the discussion about remote controls. As a consumer, ang importante ng remote control sa akin. And, I don't know anyone that's using universal remotes with their digital box. So, if I'm going to watch, TV, turn on the TV with my, and then my second remote is the cable one. And then paminsan-minsan, some of these remotes, hindi tatagos kasi yung box na sa likod. It's one of those remotes that requires line of sight. So it's not very convenient. So when a smart TV comes out, embedded na lahat yung streaming apps na nandun. I don't need to change remotes and the remote works forever because it can see the TV. It's not really your product that they switched out of, but the experience.
Experience, correct.
Oh. So what we need to do is to rethink about our strategy and how we're serving our customers. And I think we'll do well. If you look at data, so si Nielsen did a study and saw that from 2019 to 2020, cable in the Philippines grew 20%. And then from 2020 to 2021, you would think, nag-shrink na yan kasi dumami yung streaming players. It shrank, but it shrank by 50,000. That's rounding error. When you're talking surveys and sample sizes in the millions, that's a wrong calculator. So I still believe in the linear business for the Philippines, especially because I feel Filipinos are enjoying Filipino content more. You're seeing more of the Class A and the Class B watching. I-highlight ko na lang yung deleter. but it did so well in the box office. People from all social classes
Sa
watched
Film
it during the
Fest. Yung recent
Sa
Film
Metro
Fest.
Manila Film Fest. And I don't know, I think this will be similar for a lot of people. But usually, whenever it's Metro Manila Film Fest, yung feed ko sa social media ko puno ng reklamo. Wala yung mga magaganda movie, wala kasi it's going to be yung Shake, Rattle and Roll 27, Mano po 99, and
Correct.
all of these complaints. And then, for this MMFF, yung feed ko ngayon, uy, okay tong deleter. Uy, okay tong something of a family. Pati yung kay Vice Ganda, which normally my feed hates, had some good feedback also. So, I think we're in a good spot because a lot of that content is going to be delivered linearly. Because also, the Philippine consumer likes linear content, diba? When something premieres, gusto nila pagkatapos pwede nila pag-usapan ng kapitbahay nila. That for me was the magic of the Provinciano eh. You would think that once the Provinciano hit Netflix, wala nang manonood sa TV, di ba? Hindi.
Correct.
Diba? People want to watch it at the time because immediately the 15 minutes after, nakita mo yung nangyari kay Ricardo? So now that yung pumalit sa kanya si Darna, I'm still seeing the same in my area. People are very interested in what happens to Darna. And personally, I'm very much enjoying this thing they're doing na parang may spark si Darna at si Valentina.
You're watching.
Spark. Sorry, I'm not watching that.
Pero that's good news, ha? I mean,
which is okay. That's part of the
cable
service.
operators
Yes.
watching this podcast, it's good news to know na the cable TV is gonna stay for a long time. It's not gonna go away anytime soon. So the streaming services are not threats to begin with.
They're no longer the threats we thought they were. And if ever they could supplement our businesses.
They have become supplements for us.
Yeah. So I attended a conference in June, Asia Pacific Pay TV Operator Summit. It's one of my favorite summits. Because I am a giant nerd, they bust out all of the data, charts and numbers and trends. And Heidi knows this. I took pictures of the slides. I have them in my phone. So when I talk to people, I think this because and then I pull out slides. I'm that kind of person. Some things that struck me, and I hope that this resonates with cable operators here in the Philippines. There was this one operator in Dohom. They're a telecom, but they have a cable TV business. They have the ability to tell because they offer an Android TV box. They have the ability to tell what's being watched on the box. And what they found was, even though they've partnered with every single OTT player in their ecosystem and available in the region, 70% of what is being watched is still linear.
Wow.
And then Hirit niya and this guy from Malaysia, like they were even laughing. People keep telling me that my video business is going to die, so I should kill it, but it just refuses to die. Tapos tawa.
Actually, pwede nga natin sabihin, it refuses to die because when DTH came out, yun yung pinag-uusapan eh, di ba? When it first came out, sabi, oh my God, we're dead. I mean, medyo alanganin na tayo. And then, we survived that period. And then came streaming, di ba? It was very popular during the pandemic. Still, it complemented, it was a good problem for us actually. It brought us a different revenue stream, di ba?
Yeah, I really believe in the longevity of cable for a very simple thing. Everyone who knows me and knows how nerdy I am just assumes I don't watch cable anymore. And it always shocks them that, I say, no, actually, I watch a lot of cable because at the end of the day, pag pagod na ako sa trabaho, yung scrolling through your watch list, scrolling through your recommendations, you can lose an hour and a half, 2 hours doing that.
Correct. Kakapili lang
They just want to
Gusto ko lang manood.
sit down.
I-plug na lang natin si Warner Brothers Discovery. Yung kailangan ko lang gawin is bubuksan ko na lang si Warner TV, and if it's a Friends replay or a Big Bang Theory replay, okay na ako. Sit there, watch 3 episodes of familiar programming, and then good.
it's ano, I can relate it to what a marketing professor friend of mine told me na pwede mo i-relate yung business niyo with how the audience look at radio right now. When you are driving your car, 'di ba? Parang minsan nakakasawa na rin or nakakapagod yung going through your playlists, 'di ba?
Right,
Parang
right.
just aminin niyo o hindi, there are times that you just want to switch on the radio station.
True.
Then
Yes.
feed it to me. Drive lang ako. 'Di ba? Subconsciously, mararamdaman mo kumakanta ka na, sumasabay ka na sa music. It's the
Diba?
same thing
Pag,
with cable TV. Yeah. The
Tapos
platforms
pag
have
ayaw mo,
changed.
switch.
The platforms
Diba?
have changed. But the preference for more content, 'di ba? The craving hasn't gone down actually.
Yeah, it actually goes to show then na curation still matters, diba?
Yes.
Even
Yeah.
though you've created your own playlist with your music player, there's still some value turning on the radio and listening to something that the DJ curated for you.
For
Diba?
exactly.
A lot of the times, uy, I haven't heard this in a while. Napapatawa ka, you
Oo.
know.
Suddenly a song comes out na, uy, tagal ko nang di napakinggan yun. Why is it not on my playlist? Something like that. Well, speaking of evolution, TID is spearheading. Can we talk about this? Android boxes, the Android box and IPTV.
What I can say is we're looking at it. I really think that's the way forward for us. I also think that it would be difficult or even impossible for a solo operator to go about an Android TV operator to your box by themselves. So what the ID is trying to do is to find a solution that will work for any PCTA member that wants to do it. Unfortunately, yung details I can't go into because number one, not a lot of them are final. Number two, there's a lot of NDAs, and I'm scared of NDAs.
But is that something that
Undisclosed
is that something that makikita na rin sa convention in April?
It's something we're aiming for. We would love to be able to show off on at least yung chosen vendor and yung chosen solution.
Okay.
And we're really working hard to make that happen. It looks feasible, but ayoko ipako yung sarili ko to something. But to those who are interested in this, ideally we'll have a presentation and some people from Google over to talk about how an Android TV can help your business.
Great. Thank
Dave,
you.
balik lang ako doon sa background ni Joel. I'm just curious kasi his background is management. It's always been like that. Nakita natin. So, saan nanggaling yung technical side mo? I mean, yung interest mo into something na yung geek side mo.
Nerd side mo.
Okay, nerd side mo.
Nerd side mo.
Wow. There. So, yung pagka-technical ko for at least the cable business is just kasi nga, I'm a giant nerd. Coupled with this behavior na tinuro sa akin ng family ng mom ko. Now, if you're going to invest in something, you need to at the very least have a working knowledge of it. Hindi ka kailangan expert, pero you need to know enough na hindi ka maloloko.
Right.
So when I took over the cable business, I'll understand this. And kasi nga nerd ako, I understand this, but wait, interesting to wait, interesting yan wait, interesting yan And then I came to just, research, YouTube videos, take courses, and that's how I learned a lot of things. And what's really wonderful about the communities, both cable and I'm going to call them cable adjacent. It's like PCTA works with APNIC and PHNOG. There's a lot of people there na hindi talaga matakaw sa kaalaman. So you go to these people and my God, sobrang hangaw sa kanila. Because the questions like my first page, the questions I would ask were really the dumbest questions you can imagine. At pinapatulan pa rin nila ako. Parang, sige. Ako ka naman, sagutin ko yung tanong mo. So that really helped me. It's really being interested. That's just how I am as a person. When I'm really interested in something, I have to know everything that I can about it, whether it's the cable TV business or the various suits of Batman or how a lightsaber works. Kailangan ko alam yun kasi interesado ako dun.
Dave, we have one thing in common with Joel. You are both second-gen operators. You might want to ask him a question about that.
Um, siguro, because originally yung dad mo, right? Yung
Mhm.
nagre-run ng business.
Mm.
So what do you think yung tinuloy mo and ano
Mm.
yung mga binago mo nung ikaw na yung nag-take over?
Um, yung binago ko talaga was how we did everything. Because the business was just a video business. It was just coax, so it didn't service many barangays. So from a technological perspective, I changed everything and necessarily the process. But what we took from him, that I hope other cable operators will continue to keep is the care for the community,
Right.
like really focusing on the locality. I mean, I could have, when I took over the company, because my dad passed away suddenly, and I was put in charge of it immediately. Prior to that, I was working in a bank, so I could have just come in and said, "Oh, this is how companies do things. This is how
Okay.
these
Yeah.
are how the case studies tell me I should do things. My management book in third year told me to do this. Gawin natin lahat to, and then I don't care about you people. You adjust to the things I was taught." But diba, that's not always going to work,
Mm.
and the context of your market isn't. It might not always appreciate it. It could often backfire. So, one thing, when he was doing this business here, he always tried to get a feel for how number one, how it would help people, and two, how would people feel if he did, certain things. So, uh, and we keep doing it until now. So the barangays that we enter into, the schools that we talk to, that's all driven by that, the value that we kept na uh, ito yung cheesy na ginagamit ko parati, diba? The CATV, the C stands for community. Because it comes first, you can't forget about it. So whatever you do, keep your community, as your most important focus, and your business will be okay.
Oh,
Mm.
very nice. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Dave,
that, Joel.
may sisigit lang akong shoutout. Nagpapa-shoutout kasi sa akin to sa next episode daw. Kaibigan din ni Joel to. Since nabanggit na kanina yung naging supplemental yung streaming, di ba? So,
Mm.
shoutout to Tony of Viva and Viva Max, who's also sponsoring us in Tagaytay on January 19th. No? The first time that a streaming service is really coming out as a what do you call this? As one of the major sponsors, no? So yeah, shout out kay Tony and Viva, kay Boss
Yeah.
Vic. Parang close na close kami ni Boss Vic.
Oh, yes. Thank you, Viva, for always supporting PCTA. And if I can be selfish for a moment, thank you, Viva, for always supporting KCAT.
What was that last event that you posted on Facebook? Ano ba yun? Is that a festival or
Yeah,
sorry,
so
I wasn't able to follow.
for a very long time, Viva and KCAT have partnered together
Mm-hmm.
to deliver entertainment at the Sinulog Fiesta, which is the biggest fiesta of Kabangkalan City. It's exactly
So
the
it's
same,
sinulog. Okay.
so Fiesta de Santo Niño, nakatapat niya ang sa Cebu at yung
Mm-hmm.
ati-atihan sa Panay.
Sa Cebu.
So
Okay.
I'm actually really blessed na may natira pang talents given the two big markets, diba? Tapos kabangkalan na ako pero kahit papaano may talent na papunta dito. And it was great because it was the first fiesta na pinayagan maging malaki since 2019, really. So sabik na sabik yung mga tao. The mayor projected there were something like 50,000 people in the plaza.
Wow.
Unfortunately, wala
Wow.
pang 10 yung nag-sign up. Pero sige lang, at least natuwa yung mga tao. And, what I'm going to infer na lang from there, yung delusion ko na lang is, konti lang nag-sign up kasi subscriber na lahat yan.
Ang
Yeah.
galing. Of course. Yeah. Okay.
Correct.
So, again, this is PCTA Talks, and we have the chairman for External Affairs, Joel Dabao. And move na kami sa next segment ni Date. Ito yung lighter segment pa na PCTA Talks. I think Joel is also familiar with this, but he's not ready for the questions, definitely. So,
Yeah.
Date, would you like to start with it's now
Tanungin
our
ko na
tough
lahat?
cues. Yes, our tough cues.
Diretso ko na.
Diretso mo
Papatapain
na.
ko ba yung love?
After you, my turn. So, ladies first.
Sige. O, You know naman how this works, Joel, di ba? Pag tinanong ko kung ano yung unang, huwag mo masyadong isipin. Okay, number 1. What is your zodiac sign and do you believe in it?
Virgo, I didn't used to. And then over the past couple of years, parang oo nga, yes.
Oh, fairness. If you could learn any language in a week, which would it be?
It would be Spanish because you can say anything in Spanish and it sounds sexy.
Totoo yan. Totoo yan. Totoo yan. I heard
Correct.
that. I heard that.
Paella.
Donde está la biblioteca?
Okay. If you could have an unlimited supply of one thing, what would it be?
Nako,
Wow,
happiness.
ganda ng
Oh,
question.
happiness. Masyado pang Miss Universe naman yung sagot.
Happiness.
Okay. Which superpower would you choose? Invisibility or mind reading?
Invisibility.
Why?
Because it would be easier to find out things that I want to know in a way that is not so invasive. Because I'm a giant nerd, napag-isipan ko yung mga ethics ng mind reading dahil fan ako ng X-Men at kay Professor X at sabihin ko, ethically speaking, it is better to sneak around than to invade the mind.
So parang Invisible Marites.
Oh, invisible marites. Parang na lang din di ba? Kung may malaking plant dyan at nagtayo ako sa likod, pareho lang.
I like that term. Invisible marites.
Okay. Oh, ito. Do you
That can be
kill?
the next Pinoy superhero. Data.
Yeah. O nga, no? Uy, gawin nating movie yan.
Invisible
Marites.
marites.
Okay,
Yung kalaban ni Darna. Hala.
correct. Okay, do you kill bugs you find inside or you take them outside?
It depends kung anong bug.
Depends on the bug.
Yes.
Ano yung
Cockroaches
name for the
murder.
bug?
Ano ba to? Technical bug ba to?
Hindi. Kung cockroach genocide yan, everyone else I try to let outside.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. So, sinagot mo na kasi kanina, tatanungin ko sana sa'yo, is it true na meron kang graph saka chart sa phone mo? Kasi usually mga tao, ang meron sila sa gallery nila, food, di ba, places, restaurant. Pero si Joel, meron siyang graph saka
Mga
chart.
data analytics.
Oo.
Yes,
Sobrang
unfortunately. Graphs and charts.
And because you have graphs and chart in your phone, are you a frustrated professor? College.
Nice question.
I don't think I could ever be a professor because I don't have the patience. Parang kung may hingi sa akin ng information or input, mabibigay ko. Pero as a having been a horrible student myself, being in a classroom and potentially having the horrible student, hindi ko talaga kaya as a person. Lalo na, hoy, I remember that guy, ako yon.
So ano ka lang talaga, pang one-on-one na geek nerd professor.
Oh.
Okay. Sige, next time ko na ipapadefine yung love.
Okay, is it my turn? Date?
Yes, go, Trev!
Very interesting yung mga tanong ni Data. Sandali lang. Wala yung kodigo ko. Ito, curious lang. Ano kayong sagot ni Joel Dabao dito? Natrap ka sa deserted island. Kompleto lahat ng pagkain, tubig, at shelter. Pero you are supposed to bring 3 personal items. So what would those 3 personal items be?
That define personal item.
Grabe, pa-define mo pa sa akin.
Kasi
Any
Kahit
item.
ano item.
Kasi kung walang toothbrush, kung walang shampoo, edi dadalhin ko yun.
Okay, so that would count.
Or nandyan na yan lahat and then
Joel.
something na pang something, when you say personal item, something.
Andun na siya. Kasi when I mentioned about shelter, meron na di ba? So, supposedly, nandun na, kompleto na lahat. So, it's like you have a hotel, parang in the certain island, quote unquote. So, what would be that 3 personal items pa?
3 personal items would be a Kindle with a lot of books on it. Kasi hindi talaga kaya ng utak ko na nakatahimik lang siya. Probably the Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller. It's my favorite Batman story, and I keep reading it frequently. And since hotel siya, malabo ang PlayStation, so Switch na lang.
Okay. Next. What fictional character do you identify the most with?
people are going to think Batman, but I feel I
Ayun nga
identify
agad eh.
more with Superman.
Superman.
Oo, kasi si Batman, ginagawa niya yung gusto niya. Si Superman, ginagawa niya yung tama kahit hindi niya gusto.
So that omits
Oh,
my
Miss
next
Universe
question na.
na din.
Sinagot na niyo yung next question ko if it's Batman or Superman.
So, sinabi Superman.
I was surprised actually. I thought he was saying
Pero mas trip
Batman.
ko si Batman.
So if you were a superhero or supervillain, who would you be? Batman? Or is there another preference?
Yes, I would be Batman. I would absolutely be Batman in a heartbeat.
Okay, tinanong ko sa iyo ito nung Christmas party while we are walking doon sa office of PCTA going to the venue. What is your most favorite geek movie of all time?
My most favorite geek movie of all time, that keeps changing depending on the weather and the ano. I would say Endgame. Because it felt like
So
it was the
MCU.
culmination. MCU, can I have two answers?
Sure, sige.
Favorite.
Sige.
What's your two most favorite geek movies of all time?
Favorite.
So, si Endgame kasi was like the culmination of 10 years of a geek's dream coming true. Parang wow. Uso na pa, diba? Comic movies, people are watching. I can talk to anyone about Iron Man. I can talk to anyone about Captain America. Diba?
How many times have you seen
Captain America?
Endgame? How many times have you seen Endgame?
Too many.
Ako din.
Too many.
Totoo yun. Yeah.
And still, yung on your left, I cry every time. Always. Never ako. Kahit sa YouTube, yung clip lang na yun, on your left, I can't stop the tears.
So what's the second movie?
The second movie is Batman versus Superman. A lot of people hated this movie.
Okay.
But it touched on a lot of the superheroes themes that I like. And sayang lang na hindi natuloy because that whole fiasco with the universe. But I really enjoy as I've gotten older yung mga stories na natatalo yung heroes. Because it goes through this whole human side of the heroes na what it feels like to lose, because you never expect Superman to lose, you never expect Batman to lose. So what happens when the worst thing happens to them, and how do they bounce back? And yun yung mga it didn't do all of them. I mean, Superman, spoiler alert, died. But it was pointing to a lot of other DC stories na nangyari yun, and I got super excited na wow, we're going to have this mature treatment of the DC universe.
I think I've lost track, but I think I still have two more questions. Is that correct, Dave? No? May sinegwi lang ako kanina. Okay, fourth question, or second to the last. What did you think about the last time you were alone in your car? I can still remember what I thought about it.
I am a giant nerd. The last time I was alone in my car, I thought about how to execute the strategic planning of KCAT that we're going to do in February. And when I say how to execute, how my slides are going to look like, and then how I'm going to communicate the slides to my team. I need a life, no?
Feeling ko talaga, frustrated college professor ka talaga. Promise. Baka hindi mo palang natatanggap, Joel.
May tatanong ako kay Joel, pero sa off cam na lang, and
Wala na, binitaw mo na eh. Parang mo na.
Sa loob ng kotse. Anyways, yung last question ko, if you had an unlimited budget, what innovation would you want to create in our industry?
In our industry in particular?
Yes, particular.
I would like to invent the budget driller.
The budget driller.
Yeah, yung tipong 50,000 lang HDD. Because I think that would solve so many of our problems.
Is that a software?
But the HDD is what they used to drill underground.
No, yung budget driller.
Will that be underground yung cable?
No. Para underground yung cable.
Oo. Yun.
Yeah, that one.
Oo, maraming masasolve na problem yan.
Dami
yun. Pagyo, ang dadating, walang fiber cut.
Diba? Indestructible yung cable systems natin.
Correct, yeah. Oh, wow.
What do you call it again? It's the...
HDD.
Okay.
What
And
does
then
that stand for?
I forgot what HDD stands for.
I did.
Nagkakulang ang nerdiness today. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Okay, Date. So that wraps up the Tough Cues segment. I think we were very, ano tawag dito? Very kind kay Joel
Yes,
for
thank you.
those
I appreciate
questions.
it. I know
So,
there were tougher questions out there, so thank you.
so boss, would you like to invite our members? Final words from you before we wrap up this interview, and what could they expect dun sa uh, first do sa mga susunod na mga ECCs, and then for technical training, and then for the convention.
Yeah, first, I'd like to thank our members who are listening for engaging with the PCTA and listening to this podcast. We're really grateful that we have people like Trev and Heidi coming around to help us reach out to our members more. And we hope that you engage with us even further. We're going to be doing a lot of projects over the next coming years because really, as we've talked about at length in this podcast, the cable industry is at a very critical space, whether you're talking the video business, the internet business, or just operationally with that long talk we had about cybersecurity. So please just engage with us more, talk with us more, so that we also know where best to help you with all of the things we're trying to do, policy, operationally, technically. We've been approached by so many partners who are really interested in speaking to cable operators. So and we're also interested to hear a lot from the cable operators, especially stories. There are stories that never get out to the general public that really need to be told. That's why we did the Mabuhay ang Lokal campaign, and we really hope that it gains some traction again, because people really need to hear what the small cable operator is doing in the provinces. I mean, it's our everyday, so we may not think it's really important when we cable a mountain barangay, but really for the national consciousness, it's really important to hear that this is being done, and it's being done by somebody who isn't a billionaire that's on the Forbes list. Really just come. Be engaged. We have technical seminars and ECCs coming up. We have Tagaytay next week. We're going to have Davao sometime in February, if I'm not mistaken, the convention in April, and many, many more. And really, you don't have to wait for those times. Reach out to PCTA anytime. Messages on Facebook. Leave comments on the YouTube channel. And remember, like and subscribe. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers. And send us an email.
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you, Sir Joel, Boss Joel.
Right,
And
thanks.
I heard that you're leaving the country for much needed vacation. Finally.
I won't call it a vacation. I'm an imported yaya, but it's very fun to be a yaya for my nephew. He and I get along very much. Brainwash ko na siya. He loves Iron Man and Batman, so that's
Yay,
what we're going to be doing.
success.
DC and Marvel, ah.
Oh, we don't discriminate.
You cut across, ah. Oh.
Oh,
So, yeah. So,
one
thank you
love.
again. Thank you for gracing PCTA Talks. It's a pleasure having you here. And more power to KCAT. More power to the commission, Committee on External Affairs and TID. And see you around. Thank you so
All right.
much.
Thank you
Thank you,
again for the
Joel.
invitation, and congratulations on the good work.
Thank you so much. Okay, to our members again, please do watch the next episodes of course of PCTA Talks. Marami pa pong mga PCTA personalities ang i-feature namin.
Yes.
I believe the next guest will be date will be the chairman of CSR. Okay, PCTA. And then what else? Yun. And then may balik na guesting kumakahula mga aso ko. Balik na guesting si Wesley to promote the
Convention.
the convention. Yes, siguro by next month or susunod na episodes. And then what else? Would you like to invite them, Heidi, for the next upcoming ECCs also?
Yes, like what Joel mentioned earlier. So we have an ECC this coming January 19 at Tagaytay and this coming February sa Davao. So
mamimiss ka namin sa Tagaytay.
oo
Anyways,
nga mamimiss ko.
congratulations again to Eagle
Thank
Vision
you.
for your 30th. But you'll be joining us again sa Dabao, no?
Let's see, yes. Of course, kung sagot mo yung pamasahe ko.
Pero gusto ko sa'yo, diretsahan. Okay. Anyway, so that's it for this PCTA episode, and ingat lahat, and we'll have more PCTA sa mga susunod pa na engagements. Please
Yeah.
do follow us on Facebook, like us follow us on YouTube, and the website is coming up a few weeks from now.
Right.
Okay? So
Yay!
mabuhay ang PCTA. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Dave.